What's up, guys? So this video is our Cancer astrological star sign video. There's a lot to get through. Let's get into it. So Cancer is the fourth sign of the zodiac, and it begins approximately the 21st. Now, if we actually look at all the different bits that Wikipedia tells us, Wikipedia on this page in particular shows us why it's not the most reliable page. In its top bit, it says that the sun transits Cancer between June 22nd. In the little bit that under the subtitle background, the second line says that it enters the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere on approximately June 21st, and then in a little drop bar down the side that has like the little symbol and all of our little links and stuff, it says there that under the tropical western calendar and zodiac and stuff, June 20th. So 21st is in the middle there, and that's the date we're going to go with. Now, it's a water sign as well, alongside being a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs, if you remember when I mentioned them in the Aries video, are the ones that either sit on the celestial equator, or they're the ones that have the tropics named after them. Now, because Cancer enters during the summer solstice, it is the northern tropic, so the northernmost extent under which we can consider the tropical regions on the Earth. When you actually look at them, you will actually see on most maps, you'll see the equator, and then either side of it, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. And that's why it is related to our elliptical and the cycle of the star signs. Cool. In mythology, the crab is based on the crab Karkinos, who in some myths is a giant crab, in others is just a regular sized crab. Either way, it's sent by Hera to distract Hercules during his second labor while fighting the Hydra. Excuse me. So he gets sent to distract Hercules, and Hercules defeats him either by stepping on him and crushing him, or kicking him so hard that he flies up into the celestial vault above us, and simply just becomes the star sign himself. But either way, based on a crab that appears during the second labor of Hercules, and arguably his most famous one as well. The other interesting thing to note there is that the Hydra itself lives in a lake, just sort of furthering the water part here. Cool. So water signs are the more emotional, empathetic, and sensitive signs of the zodiac. So those being, as I said, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. The symbol for water in alchemy, and therefore for astrology, is a downwards pointing triangle. And yeah, they represent sort of more of the heart. And since this is our first water sign, I may as well do a recap on elements, and then I don't have to really talk about elements in too much depth going forward. So the fire signs, which is going to be our next one, Aries was one, and Leo will be one as well. They're more of like the spirit. If we want to sort of divide the human body into four parts, they're the spirit. The earth signs, which are Taurus and Virgo and Capricorn, are the physical, the body. Then the air signs, Gemini, which was our last one, Libra and Aquarius. The mind, which as I said before, makes water the heart. The modalities, like I said, this on the cardinal sign, it sits on the northernmost tropic. Keywords for them are action, dynamic, initiative, and great force. And when you pair that with the fact that they are the more emotional, more empathetic ones, it means that they put more effort, effectively, into their emotional, have the word right on the tip of my tongue and it's escaped me now, but like their emotional endeavors, so things like their relationships and stuff, and we will see that become very true with going into literally the next thing. But before we do that, I'm going to try and see if this is going to give me any sort of trying to find if water itself gives us any doesn't appear like it's going to give us any. No, okay, that's fine. I was going to see if it was going to give us any personality traits, but it's not going to. That's fine. That brings us on to our planets. Now, I can get rid of that one too now. Now, Cancer's ruling planet is not in fact a planet, it is the moon. Leo is the sun, and they are the only signs that have those as their ruling celestial bodies. We'll say that. They are categorized with the other planets as they are seen to move across the sky, which is, after all, the base of the ancient Greek word for planetai, meant wanderer. So because the sun and the moon can be seen to pass across the sky by the naked eye without the use of telescope, they are categorized accordingly. Now, the moon its symbol is a crescent moon. If you know anything about the phases of the moon, it is actually a waxing crescent, which means that it's the first sort of eighth before we get our half moon leading into a full moon and out of a new moon. The Greek gods we are looking at here are Selene, which actually just means moon. Its Roman counterpart was Luna. And we're also looking at Artemis, the goddess of the hunt. For our Vedic side of things, because we can know that these signs are used by the Vedics as well, in Vedic astrology. The god we're looking at here is Chandra, which is funny to me because of all of these, Chandra's the only one. Just having a quick look. So Chandra's the only one that also has a planeswalker named after her. Chandra Nala, the original fire or red mana planeswalker. I do have her pop vinyl over there. That's why I pointed. I was ill prepared when I started and just suddenly remembered that I would have just shown you if I'd thought ahead by like literally 2 seconds. But Chandra is associated with the emotions, just like the water sign Cancer, the mother and motherly instincts, and Chandra means shining, hence the moon shines as well, so that's kind of cool. Excuse me. Alright, so the moon is the ruling planet of Cancer and is exalted in Taurus. In classical Roman mythology, we've already talked about that, Luna and Diana. The moon is large enough for its gravity to affect the Earth, stabilizing its orbit and producing the regular ebb and flow of the tides, a great force upon water. Cardinal water sign. Astrologically speaking, the moon is associated with a person's intuition, their emotional makeup, their unconscious habits, their rhythms, memories, moods, and their ability to react and adapt to those around them. It's associated for some with the mother, maternal instincts, or the urge to nurture, the home, and the need for security and the past. This will become abundantly clear the further into this we go. These are your strongest points as a Cancer. In medicine, the moon is associated with the digestive system, stomach, ovaries, menstruation, the pancreas, and breasts. I've altered the order of that because the breasts is actually what the little 69 symbol is supposed to represent. The one that if you type in Cancer and you use the little emoji in like the purple box with the symbol, that's what that's supposed to show you. It's supposed to show you a pair of breasts. In order to, and its reasoning for being that is to emphasize and sort of accentuate the nurturing maternal nature of Cancerians. The moon is also ruled over animal spirits, which I think is hilarious, because the first thing you think of when you think of animals and the moon is a wolf, and therefore werewolves, and we've also got menstruation that the moon rules over, so it's all leading to that time of the month. The 6-year-old in me is having a bit of a laugh. In modern astrology, the moon is the primary ruler of the 4th house, being the 4th sign. Cancer also sits in the 4th house, but traditionally the moon had its joy in the 12th house, which we will not look at until we get to Pisces, another water sign. The moon, or lunar, is associated with Monday, which obviously comes from the Old English word meaning moon's day, and the Romance languages, in Romance languages, the name for Monday comes from Luna. So for instance, Italians is lunedì, literally meaning exactly the same thing, the day of the moon. In Chinese astrology, the moon represents yin, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the dark part of the circle with the white dot, which coincidentally looks like a full moon in the night sky, and therefore represents the passive, receptive, feminine, introverted, negative side of things. And I mention all of those words because it doesn't mean that because the moon itself is yin in nature, that you are all of those things. You may not necessarily be passive or feminine. You might not be overly receptive to things. You're probably not a negative person, etc. It just means that it's saying that you are different from the yang signs. It's not better or worse, it's just different. In Indian astrology, the moon, as I said, is Chandra, can also sometimes be called Soma, and represents the mind, queenship, and mother. And it's interesting that Soma is there because, if I'm not mistaken, no, I don't want. If I'm not mistaken, Soma is a body. Let me just quickly Google search this if it's going to be quick for me. Yeah, it means body. But we're looking here at more of like the mind and stuff. Sorry, the heart. The heart. Cool. So that's our ruling planet. Our detriment is found in Saturn, which I believe we've looked at before as well. No, we haven't. We've not looked at Saturn at all. That's fine. We will eventually look at Saturn. It's the ruling planet of Capricorn. So basically, whatever the ruling planet of one sign is, the sign opposite it, when you draw them in a circle, is going to have that as its detriment. For, I think, kind of obvious reasons. It's exaltations in Jupiter, which that might be the one we've looked at. Is it? It is. Okay, also not. Alright, so it's exaltation. So in classical Roman mythology, Jupiter is the ruler of the gods, their guardian and their protector, and his symbol is the thunderbolt. It's Zeus, okay? But it's interesting that he is a guardian and a protector when this sign is a nurturer as well. That sort of adds to it. Astrologically speaking, he is associated with the principles of growth, expansion, healing, prosperity, good fortune, and miracles. He governs long distance and foreign travel, big business and wealth, higher education, religion, and the law. It's also associated with the urge for freedom and exploration, as well as gambling and merrymaking. It's associated with the liver, pituitary glands, and disposition of fats. It's the native ruler of the 9th house, but traditionally was assigned to both the 2nd and 9th houses. Cool. The ruling sign really is going to be the one that you want to be looking at the most, though. Cool. So we'll move on to the 4th house, which is the house of home and family. Now, remembering that we've already had a lot of mothering and nurturing and bits to do with our past and childhood experiences and stuff already come up, because that's exactly what this house represents. It represents ancestry, heritage, roots, your early foundation and environment, being a mother or a caretaker, your housing and your household, your any matters within your neighborhood, so any of your neighborhood matters. It rules over your comfort and your security, as well as tidiness and any pets. Basically, if you were to put an actual Greek god into this 12th house, it would be Hestia. Hestia? Yes. The goddess of the hearth. I just know in Roman it's Vesta, the Roman... where did I see that one? The Roman festival of Vestalia starts on the summer solstice, which is when Cancer starts as well. So it's a lot to do with the home and family matters, which is kind of cool. All right. Now that we've gotten most of that stuff out of the way, we're going to go into the last 3 links that are down below. The top half is all just the Wikipedia pages that I've read to you thus far, at least in part. And I'm now going to dive into the last 3, which are going to give us our lucky colours, our compatibility, all that really fun sort of stuff. So, starting with astrology zodiac signs. Colour is white, the day, Monday and Thursday. Interestingly enough, I know I didn't mention this earlier, but Thursday is the day associated with Jupiter. So its lucky days for Cancer are its ruling sign and its exaltation sign. It does also say there that its ruler is the moon. Its greatest compatibility is going to be, according to this, with an earth sign, particularly either Capricorn, which is the other tropic, or Taurus, which was 2 months ago. Lucky numbers for Cancerians are 2, 3, 15, and 20, and this one gives the date range as starting on the 21st, ending on July 22nd. Traits that it gives: your strengths, you are tenacious, highly imaginative, loyal, emotional, sympathetic, and persuasive. Your weaknesses: you can be moody, pessimistic, suspicious, manipulative, and insecure. You more than likely like at least one of the following, if not multiple: art, any home-based hobbies, relaxing near or in water, helping loved ones, and having a good meal with your friends. You dislike strangers, any criticism. It says criticism of mum. I don't know if that's supposed to be like criticism from your mum or any criticisms on how you raise your children. I guess that's really up to interpretation there. And you dislike revealing your personal life. You like your security. You like being in your little bubble and just being in your bubble. Cool. So it says here, deeply intuitive and sentimental. Cancer can be one of the most challenging zodiac signs to get to know. They're very emotional and sensitive and care deeply about matters of the family and their home, hence the house that they sit in. Cancer is sympathetic and attached to people they keep close. Those born with their sun in Cancer are very loyal and able to empathize with other people's pain and suffering. Guided by emotion and their heart, Cancerians could have a hard time blending into the world around them. Being ruled by the moon, phases of the lunar cycle deepen their internal mysteries and create fleeting emotional patterns that are beyond their control. As children, they don't have enough coping and defensive mechanisms for the outer world and have to be approached with care and understanding, for that is what they give in return. Lack of patience or even love will manifest through mood swings later in life, and even selfishness, self-pity, or manipulation. They are quick to help others just as they are quick to avoid conflict, and rarely benefit from close combat of any kind, always choosing to hit someone stronger, bigger, or more powerful than they imagined. Kind of like the crab attacking Hercules. When at peace with their life choices, Cancer representatives will be happy and content to be surrounded by a loving family and harmony in their home. Now, this at the bottom goes on to give all sorts of deeper levels of compatibility with the love and sex life, friends and family, career and money, how to attract a Cancer man, how to attract a Cancer woman. But I'm going to move on to the next page, so that will be in the description for you to check out. This page is Astrology Zodiac Signs. All right, page 2. I feel like this hasn't fully loaded properly, but we're gonna go start with it. So it gives our spirit color, they call it, as violet as opposed to white from the first one. You will find that I think the third page gives us both of them, third one that I've got. Lucky gems are the ruby or the pearl. Interestingly enough, obviously with the pearl, it was in our monthly symbols, and as we know from that, it is the only quote-unquote gem that actually comes from the water. It has to come from the water. Lucky flowers are the orchid and the white rose. Again, something that is purple or violet in color, and one that is white. And this one gives the top love matches as Taurus and Pisces. So far, Taurus has gone 2 for 2. But either way, we're still looking at either an earth or a water sign, so still keeping it in that negative, feminine side of things, the yin side of things. Alright, so it says here, emotional, intuitive, and practically psychic. Ruled by the moon and characterized by the crab, Cancer has so much going on in its watery depths. Cancerians may seem prickly and standoffish at first meeting, but once they make the decision to become friends with someone, that person has a friend for life. Most cancers have been called psychic at some point, with good reason. They can often intuit relationships. Excuse me. So they can often intuit relationships, ideas, and motivations before anyone has actually spoken. They can make for challenging interactions with this sign. They hate small talk, especially when it contains white lies, like saying, "Nice to see you," when it's clear that both parties would rather have avoided each other. That's why social gatherings can be overwhelming for cancers. They'd much rather spend time in small groups where everyone is on the same page. In romance, Cancer is giving and generous and expects the same in return. They are above mind games and hate the thrill of the chase. If you love someone, why not say it? It's not uncommon for Cancer to fall into committed love after just a few days or weeks, and even though that decision is sudden, it can easily last a lifetime. Cancerians tend to be happiest when they're part of a pair, and the best relationship will bring out their greatest traits. And even though they thrive in a pair, Cancerians also have an independent streak and need plenty of time to do things on their own. This sign has an active internal life and is often happy living in the realm of their own imagination. Sometimes they will need help from one of the more grounded signs to make their dreams a reality. Cancerians love creating and need some type of creative outlet, whether it's painting, writing, or just reading. Going back to they like art. Cancerians also love connecting to a higher power and may find comfort in religion or other spiritual practices. And even though Cancerians can be intense, they also have a funny side with a wry sense of humour, and they're adept at observing and mimicking people around them. Finally, Cancerians are incredibly loyal, sometimes to a fault. They will go to the ends of the earth and even against their own beliefs to help someone they love. Learning how to step up for what they believe in, even if it means turning down or against a friend, is a lifelong lesson that Cancers need to learn. As the emotional heart of the zodiac, this sign teaches everyone else that while there's so much in life that we may not be able to see, we should still pay attention to the unseen because it does exist and we do need it. Cool. Now this page, horoscope.com, has little bits for your greatest gifts, your greatest challenges, and your secret weapon, as well as the 5 top reasons to love being a Cancer. And if you want to read those, again, link is in the description. Third and final one of these. Okay. What do we got here? So the flowers associated with Cancer are, according to this page, cafeastrology.com, are the water lily and the magnolia, which is vastly different from the last one. So I suppose it really sort of just comes down to what you personally like. As I've always maintained, about 80% of what I've said here will relate to you if you are a Cancer watching this. And that does not necessarily mean that the same 80% is going to apply to somebody else. Maybe your best friend's also a Cancer. That same 80% is not necessarily going to apply to them. It may be a different 80%. And they may have that 20% you don't have, sort of thing. So if you like orchids and white roses, but they like water lilies and magnolias, that's still, you're still looking at your lucky flowers, sort of thing, is what I'm trying to get at. As I mentioned before, the Cancer glyph may represent the breasts as a symbol of the nurturing qualities of the sign. The ruling planet is the moon, representing our deepest personal needs, our basic habits and reactions, emotions, and the unconscious. As a water sign, you are fluid, emotional, and intuitive. Cancers can be self-protective and sensitive, often retreating into themselves when cornered. What else have we got here? We got a lot going on. The metal associated this is a good one. Metal associated with Cancer is silver. So in addition to purple and white, we've now also got silver. The pearl, this page gives us the pearl as its gem, which symbolizes integrity, loyalty, wisdom, and calm. Traits also associated with the sign. What did this one give us? I don't know. Anyway. Lucky colors, this one tells us violet, silver, and white. So with silver being its metal, but also told by this page, and now being the color, violet being on the first one, no, white being on the first one, violet being on the second one, we've now had them all confirmed, basically. Cool. I want to read some bits that I haven't already. So its metal, silver, represents wisdom, beauty, age, and grace. The pearl, integrity, loyalty, wisdom, and calm. Emeralds are also connected to the Cancer zodiac sign, as well as the moonstone, which is thought to help bring lovers together or back together, and cat's eye. As far as colors are concerned, white symbolizes purity, innocence, and safety. Keywords also associated with Cancer. So of the three, white's probably the strongest one there. It doesn't tell us what violet symbolizes, so this one tells us that Cancer's lucky number is the number 2. So lucky days would be 2, 11, 20. Basically, if you're using your numerology, anything that you're going to be able to boil down to a 2 or an 11 is lucky for you. And if you are not aware, numerology, you just simply add up all of the numbers within a thing. So they've got here the years 1973. If you add all of those up, you're going to end up with 20, and 2 and 0 is 2. So you bring it all the way down to a single digit, and as we saw there, and that equals 2. Cancer is, as I said, feminine, negatively charged, yin or receptive, along with, and then it just spells out all of the earth and water signs. Cancer is considered a highly fertile sign for planting. Its tree is the apple tree, the cypress tree, and the fir tree. Body parts associated again, breast, stomach, and womb. When it comes to health, it's associated with bodily fluids, protective covers in the body, and bodily containers. Health issues connected with the sign of Cancer include water retention and stomach problems. And that's so Cancer is connected to the midsummer season. The beginning of the sign of Cancer is called the Tropic of Cancer, and the sun, when here, reaches its limit of north declination. The summer solstice also means the sun standing still, because of the fact that, as far as the wobble of the earth, the sun is reaching its highest point. It is also the longest day of the year, but if you want more info on that, I made a Litha video that you can watch, which is the Celtic celebration of midsummer. And that's it. That's all I've got for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. And until next time, guys, keep your heads screwed on.